Right. So I'm starting the recording it looks cute. Officially welcome the both of you to our next installment of our Business Growth Bootcamp. So today we get to talk about sales, which I'm super excited for us to do because sales is the heart of our business, right? A business, sales is the lifeblood. If we don't sell, we don't have a business. So what we're going to do today is really a lab day. So we'll get lots of practice selling, having sales conversations and finding ways to strengthen our unique approach to selling. So it doesn't become a formula and it doesn't become something that feels salesy, but something that's an authentic conversation where you're communicating your true self and what you have to offer to your ideal client. So before we get into that, again, as I said, I always start out with celebrations because celebrations are critical to us continuing to climb the mountain of success. And building a business is something that is not a sprint. It is an endurance test. And so we want to take those frequent breaks to just pat ourselves on the back and say, good job. So I'll turn it over to you, Shanta, to go first and let us know what win would you like to celebrate, either in your business or in your life?
I don't know. I'm trying to think over the past couple of weeks because, yeah, it's all a blur. I've been struggling with realizing what day it is. Yesterday was Tuesday, and then today I keep thinking it's Wednesday. So my days are starting to blur. I'm just looking at my calendar to see what I did. I would have to say I hit 1,000 followers on my social media, my Instagram page.
Congratulations.
And this is after, so I had a previous page that I was about to hit 2,000 followers on at the end of last year, and then my page got shut down. So this is after
you started off from scratch again.
So I'm excited about that.
Wonderful. How does it feel?
It feels good. I'm trying not to focus so much on the followers this time around because I think I was really pressed for it last time. But it's good. It's an accomplishment, but I'm trying not to be so engulfed in it.
Well, it's good to know that there are more people who know you and know the fabulous work that you do. So that's definitely worth celebrating. And you have a way of leading them from the Instagram into connecting with you.
So I've been pubbing. I have 2 freebies out that I've had since I started my business. So I'm continuing to push those out as well. So.
Great. Are you getting people starting to come over?
For the last one I just posted, I had 5 people sign up, and that was my intimacy guide. I posted my clarifying your values worksheet maybe a week or so ago, and I had about 3 people sign up from there. So
wonderful.
In the rotation, so I can continue to get more people.
You can. So now they're on your email list, so you not own them, but they're your community. Because social media is great, but when we don't own the platform, we can't always. You know what happened last time.
Clearly. I was very grateful for my email list that time. So
that is wonderful. Congratulations, Shanta. So Marianne, what would you like for us to celebrate for you this week?
Congratulations, Shanta. Social media is such a beast. I had a sales session with a client who was she bought one of the vouchers at the photo shoot at my party. And she was the one that I think I mentioned where she was very confused about the pricing. And so I said, you are not obligated to buy anything. You can just buy one photo and you get $100 off that photo. So all you're paying is $150. And she said, okay, cool, that's fine. She ended up spending $1,000.
Yep.
And loved the photos and didn't feel bad about her purchase at all. And I didn't feel bad. It was a win-win. So you never know.
Yes, yes. So what did you learn from that experience?
That I just have to do what I do for them and my clients and just serve and just provide beautiful photos. That's what I do. I'm not trying to push anything. I just really want to help them because it wasn't a mother-daughter, it was an aunt and the daughter because the mother just died, and I just like, oh my gosh, I just want this poor 18-year-old to feel good about herself. And so now she has these beautiful photos of herself, and
Yes.
her aunt has beautiful photos. So yeah. And her mother, I mean, her aunt drove off in a beautiful Mercedes. So it's like, I'm not going to feel bad. I had no idea she had that car. I mean, I carried the product to her car. It's like, oh my gosh, this leather, this beautiful seat. I mean, I could just smell the leather in the seats. It was just like, okay, I'm not feeling bad at all.
Well, we should never feel bad because, as you're saying, you're serving her. You're providing a very valuable service. And the thing about it is, lots of times when people talk about money, we'll talk about objections next week. But a lot of times, the money objection, the time objection, the I have to think about objection, all of those are really the same thing, which is fear. And when you focus on serving them and helping them to see what's possible, so when you show her the photos, like, they get over the fear and they love the service and, rave about it and pay it gladly. So, yeah, I think that that's a wonderful example of why it's important for us to not buy into the story that they're telling, that this is too expensive and, I can't pay that amount for that. Like just what you did, just ignore that story, just continue to serve, and you'd be surprised at not only what they'll buy, one time, but to come back again and again because you've provided such excellent service. So kudos to you for both doing a great job serving and a great job serving her through her fear. It's a great job.
Oh yeah, she brought one outfit. That's it, one outfit. And so I actually created an outfit for each of them.
Wow.
I had 2 outfits, so.
Yeah. Well, you're great at creating. I've seen your outfit creation, so I know firsthand you're fabulous at that. Which brings me to our first part. So last time we talked, we were talking about the importance of sharing our stories and why storytelling is such a more powerful way to engage people than telling them statistics or reciting your mission statement or any of those kinds of things. So we worked on crafting your why I do what I do story. And this is something that allows your ideal client to know a bit about who you are and what your mission, the mission of your business actually is. So the directions were to finish your story and to practice it. So I'd like to both hear your story, and then I'd like to hear you just give a quick summary of how other people have responded to your story. And I'll do my little timer so we can see if it's in the 2-minute window, which is our goal. So let me see. Shanta, you went first last time. So Marianne, I'll have you go first when you're ready. Are you ready?
So was this last week's homework? Or the last time?
Yes, 2 weeks ago.
So I have to admit I didn't do the homework because it's been so busy. Sorry, I always do it, but this time I didn't do it.
Okay.
But I can tell a story because I did the story for that party.
The why I do what I do. You did. That's true.
I can tell that story.
Okay. All right. You ready? I'm timing you.
It's in 2 minutes. Okay. Wait, where's the thing that says the structure?
That has the structure of it. It's at the end of our last week's session where it does. So you don't have to do the objective main message. That's just for you to put yourself in storytelling mode. So you start with your transition. I remember, or it was a dark and stormy night, whatever, lay out the context.
Okay.
All right. And you're going to take us all the way through to your recommended action. So the invitation, what you want us to do.
Okay.
Ready? Wait, let me get my timer. Okay, go ahead.
So I have a client, and her name is Liz. And I'm sorry, did I tell you this story already? Oh, okay. Sorry, I'll just start. So Liz had open heart surgery when she was 40. And she she almost died, and she had this heart replacement, and they told her that her heart would last 10 years. She's now 50, and she's celebrating her 50th birthday. So she called me up for a photo shoot, and I had photographed her daughter before, and her daughter was so beautiful, and Liz always said, I don't want to be in the photo, just Emily, just Emily. But finally she said, I'm ready for my photo shoot. And then she told me that her heart only has 10, or she's already lived the 10 years of her heart.
Mm.
And I said, it's really time to celebrate you.
Mm.
So I think I missed my conflict. The conflict was, I had photographed her daughter twice, and I said, how about you, Liz? And she said, no, just Emily, just Emily. But I said, you've got to really celebrate your life, and you've got to really celebrate you turning 50. So we did a photo shoot, and she wanted to show her scar of her heart, and I had 20 different images, and they each had all these different emotions. And the one that she loved was with her scar, and this very serious expression that she had with her scar. And she also loved one of her laughing, and she said this is the way that she thinks her family sees her. And it's true that she's always happy, very joyful, very loving, and that is how I think the world sees her. And she cried when she saw her photos, because she said, it's true, Marianne, you do show people how others see us, and we don't see that person often enough. And so she was crying because I was confirming that she was a loving, happy person, someone worthy of being celebrated.
All right. Invitation.
Oh, she already did the photo shoot. Sorry, that was a very good story.
And that's why I love taking pictures of women like you. I'd love to have to photo your best.
And that's why I'd love to take your photo, because I think everyone deserves to be celebrated. You don't have to have a timeline on your life running out. You can celebrate yourself now. Wherever you are in your life, you deserve to be celebrated as you are, who you are right now.
Yes, I do. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You ready?
Yeah.
You ready, Shanta?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let me reset my timer. Okay, go ahead.
All right. So my own experience with heartbreak and not really centering my own pleasure is what drove me into sex therapy. So when I was in high school, I was one of those teenagers who had everything figured out. Like I had my whole life mapped out by the time I graduated high school. I knew what colleges I wanted to go to, when I wanted to get married, when I wanted to buy my first house and, have kids and all that. And, the world, the universe laughed at me essentially and was like, this isn't the path. And so it was when I finished my first master's program. I had been dating my high school sweetheart. And at that point we were together for about 8 years. And I found out he was cheating on me. I was devastated. I was embarrassed. And part of me felt guilty because I didn't recognize the signs, guilty because, back at that time, I thought that, it was something I could have done better to be able to sustain this relationship. So I went through couples counseling to try to work it out. I went through my own individual therapy and realized hey, I have not been centering myself. I haven't been centering my own pleasure when it comes to just knowing my needs and desires and just what brought me joy. And so I figured from that point on, I wanted to make sure that I explored my own sexuality through dance and through just, exploring who I was as a person. And I realized that there are a lot of other women who are experiencing these same things, probably even went through a very similar situation, and I wanted to be able to help them on their journey as well.
Invitation.
And so that's why I encourage women all the time to seek out sex therapy and really help. I don't know.
And so that's why I'd encourage you, if you're feeling, like life isn't working out the way you wanted it to really invest in yourself and give yourself the time to have that support so that you can have all the pleasure and joy you deserve.
Okay.
Okay.
That sounds good.
So an invitation is really critical because that's what opens the door for them to come. You both have great stories, and they're very engaging. And how have you found them in terms of your ability to share them with other people? How have other people responded?
I shared it at this webinar that I had. I think that was that same week that we had class. I think it was that same week. And a lot of people were like, thank you for sharing, blah, blah, blah. I didn't do the invite piece of it, so that may have been it. But people really understood and it resonated for folks. So I thought it was positive.
Yeah, that is positive. Did they express to you that they've had similar experiences?
Not directly, but I saw a lot of head nods because it was on a Zoom chat like this.
Oh, okay.
I saw a lot of head nods with it, but yeah.
So I'd love to see you do it in an in-person format, so people can let you know, like, oh yeah, I felt like that, or that happened to me. Because when they say that, that's like, big shining sign of, this is my ideal client and someone that I could really help. So your being vulnerable helps them to then come up and share with you.
Okay.
So let's set that as a goal. Okay.
Okay.
Marianne, how did yours go when you shared it in public? You're on mute. He's still on mute. There you go.
Shanta, I'm just, can you tell me what censoring your pleasure means? Is that what you said?
So when I say censoring your pleasure, I usually mean just doing activities that make you feel comfortable and that bring you pleasure. So not thinking about, oh, I have to make sure my kids are happy and my husband is happy and my family is happy, and doing all these different things for them without recognizing that, hey, I need to take care of myself as well. So it's based off of the archetype of the strong Black woman, that we're always doing everything for everybody else and not really taking care of our own health and our own well-being.
So censor, like a censor who, like the censoring words, that kind of word censor?
No, center, like the center of a computer or a center of
center, CENTER? Oh, I thought it was censor your pleasure.
No, that'd be the opposite of what you did.
Yeah, I was confused. So center your pleasure.
Yeah.
That makes more sense.
Yeah.
Is that something that a lot of people know? Because I didn't know what that meant.
It's common in the sexual health world, sexuality educators world, but not with.
So maybe if you're talking to like people who aren't in that world, maybe just explain what center your pleasure means. Because I really thought that you said censor your pleasure. And I was like, ooh, that sounds like a very interesting word.
Okay.
That's great feedback as well, Marianne, because we often use jargon that it's professionals, in our community use, but we do want to speak. That's why we go to stories, and we want to use words that our ideal clients would use to describe themselves and their lives. So Marianne, when you were sharing your story, why I do what I do, what kind of feedback did you get?
Well, it's not like I actually tell that story a lot, but every time I'm with a group of people, I was with a group of people today, and I just started talking about this photo shoot I had on Sunday with 8 people, and they were interested in learning more about it, and it was intergenerational, and I was talking about the grandparents, and they were like, oh God, that's just an amazing idea, I should do that. So then I just kind of go off on that. So it's not like I tell the same story over and over. I usually just talk about the most recent photo shoot, and I don't do the invitation. Sometimes I do, but sometimes it feels really forced. Oh, I would love to photograph you. And I do that, but it just sounds, that's when I feel like, oh, and I think you would deserve to be photographed. It's just that invitation part is just a little bit salesy to me.
Well, partially because you think it's salesy and you're not saying it,
Mm-hmm.
right? So then you don't have. So it doesn't have to be, I'd love to take a picture of you. Will you sign up? It could be, and that's why I love photographing women like you.
Oh, okay.
You deserve to be. Mm,
That's why I photograph women like you.
that's why I love.
That's why I love to photograph women like you.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a big difference.
Can you see yourself on the wall in the big whatever? Like, get them to participate. But you always do want to do an invitation, because if you haven't done an invitation, if you don't ask, then oftentimes people aren't going to volunteer themselves. And it's also a confidence thing, because people really feel like if you're not confident enough to offer your service, like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, why should I chase you? Like, that makes me less confident in you.
Yeah.
So,
that's good wording though. I'm going to use that, because I've been saying things like, and I'd love to photograph you, which sounds corny to me. So, but I love how you said, and that's why I love to photograph women like you.
mm-hmm.
It's just a matter of just a little bit more delicate words.
Yes. And finding the words that ring true to you and feel, like you said, not salesy, but like you can say yourself. So that's what we're talking about today in our sales conversation. On your chart, you'll see we're revisiting. There are 4 key components to sales, and we keep going over them because this is what we need to be able to do. So in sales, we need to be very clear. We need to be clear about what the problem that our ideal client is having and what the solution is. And we need to be certain that we can help them. So part of the conversation is screening out, do they have a problem that I can help them with? Because it would be irresponsible of me to offer to invite them to work with me, and it's not a problem I can solve, right? So we want to be judicious with who we invite, because we want them to be people who we actually can help and we'd love to work with them, like not people who are going to be a pain in our necks. So you don't invite everybody in, but you invite with certainty, oh, this person I can actually help. Then we want to be compassionate. Again, sales is not about us. It's about the person that we're sitting across from. And it's about how can we serve them and make their lives better. So that's why we have that I serve approach to sales. And sales is about consistency, right? So we want to show up again and again and again. And your sales conversations get better by actually doing them. The more you do them, the more you learn about your ideal client, the better your marketing message gets, the more clear your communication with your clients get, the easier it is for you to enroll people and the more people you're able to enroll. So every sales conversation is a win, right? It's really not about I only win when they enroll. It's I win because I'm learning something about them and I'm learning something about myself and I'm improving my technique. So what we're going to do today is to practice how we can improve our techniques. So first, I want you to think about those 4 categories, right? Clarity, certainty, compassion, and consistency. Think about which one of those right now is most challenging for you. And for that one that's the most challenging for you, I'd like for you to actually write down how you can use your signature strength to help you in that area. So our signature strengths are our superpowers. They're the unique gifts that we have that make us special, that make us different, that when we're doing them, we're in our flow, we feel good, our eyes light up, and we transfer that energy to the person that's across from us. So thinking about the signature strengths that you have for each of these areas, but only pick right now the one. You can do the other 3 at home. Just pick one that's really difficult for you and think about your list of your signature strengths and then think, okay, so I could use this strength to help me in this area of sales. So do you need help remembering your signature strengths? Do you know them?
No, I remember mine.
Okay. Shanti, you got yours? You want me to review them?
Yes, that would be lovely.
Okay. All right, great. So Shanti, your signature strengths are judgment, fairness, prudence, love, gratitude, hope, and humility.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll give you 5 minutes.
I remember my top two.
Okay, let me give you all 5.
Appreciation for beauty and excellence and love of learning.
Mm-hmm. And then you also have social intelligence, honesty, perspective, and humor.
Okay.
So any questions about your signature strengths, what they mean, or about the 4 traits of sales?
It's challenging to see how those are going to help with my one with consistency, but I guess I'll brainstorm.
Okay, so brainstorm. Well, I'll give you 3 minutes, and then if you're really stumped, we can think through it together.
Okay.
Okay, so 3 minutes, pick your most challenging area and put your strengths to work. Only work on one strength. And I'll pause this. So let's hear first tell us the area of sales that is currently the most challenging for you, and then tell us the strength, which of your superpowers you're going to tap into to help you in that area. Whoever wants to begin.
Oh, we were only supposed to do one. I did all of them. That's funny.
Oh, you're so fast. Okay, just pick right now. Just pick the one area that you had that poses the most challenge. One of the 4.
Oh, the most challenge. Okay, so consistency.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote social intelligence to assess each client's special needs, not get too disappointed by rejection.
Mm-hmm. So part of your challenge around being consistent is because you actually get caught up in that this person is going to reject me. And so then it makes it difficult for you to consistently show up.
Or if I am rejected, and then to pick myself back up.
Oh, I see. So you're going well until someone says no, and then it feels like a rejection, and then it's hard the next time to show up with
right. So if I use my social intelligence, I can figure out that everyone is going through their own different narrative, their drama, and I can not take it personally.
Yes. Excellent. So understanding other people as well as yourself and recognizing it really isn't about you. Mm-hmm. Does make it easier. I was also thinking for you of your love of learning and tapping into this. So one of the things, and we'll do this today in our sales conversation, is at the end of every sales call, I do this. I teach all my clients to do this, to do 3 things that went well, 3 enhancements, and 3 action steps. And so it turns every sales conversation into essentially a school where you're learning about yourself and your client, and you're getting better and better at the craft of selling. And so for people like us, because love of learning is also one of my signature strengths, and turning something into a school for me where I'm learning something actually makes it more fun for me to do the activity. So you might want to consider tapping into that as well.
Thank you. Yeah, I put that for the compassion one.
Mm-hmm.
I was learning, but that's good. Thank you.
Well, you can use them multiple times. That's the great thing of our superpowers. Great. So Shanta, let's share. What's your area of sales that's most challenging for you now?
I would have to say consistency as well. Mm-hmm. And I chose humility.
Okay.
With that, and understanding that, number one, it's okay if people don't want to utilize your services, but also tapping into that from keeping me from actually reaching out, because sometimes like you do have to be humble when you're asking for things. And making sure my pride doesn't get in the way of saying like, well, you shouldn't need to ask. They should just want to be a part of whatever products and stuff like that.
It's a great use of humility. So using that, because it's one of the things that you do very well, and you can take that that persona on almost like a uniform that you change into. And so, yeah, you're not this haughty, proud person. You're like a very humble person, and, seeing yourself. Right now, I'm getting the image of like a Buddhist monk, but you know how they have those gratitude bowls of like whatever, the universe provides for me today is what is meant for me. And just kind of receiving that. So gratitude is also one of your signature strengths. And so you might want to think about how you can be grateful for both the people who enroll and the people who don't enroll. Like, why is it great that they said no? Just ask yourself that question, right? Like, why is that great that they said no? Maybe they wouldn't have been a great client. Maybe it wouldn't have been right for them. Maybe it wouldn't have been right for you. Like, there are all kinds of things, other things that are going on. And I would also think about love.
Love too.
Yeah, love is such a powerful motivator. And so much of our fear, when we really get in fear, it's really all about us, right? We're thinking about how other people are going to think of us, and what are they going to do or say about us. But love is focused on them. And when we show up and we're like, this is not about me, this is really about how can I serve this person? Regardless, like, I'm here to be your advocate and serve you. That is such a powerful drive. One, it actually makes people want to enroll more. But two, it allows us to accept a no as graciously as we can accept a yes, because ultimately you have to make the best decision for you. And if the best decision for you is no, like, I can celebrate that, because it's your life, and that is, you're not ready to change. Like, okay, like, bless you. And I want you to have, all the kind of life that you want. There may be another time when you do. So part of what happens with sales in particular is that whoever is the most certain in sales always, I don't want to say wins, like it's a competition, but essentially wins, right? It's the most dominant frame. And so you, as the person enrolling, if you're more certain that this person can have freedom, that their life can be better, that they can have this wonderful experience, then they will likely enroll. If they're more certain that things can't get better, that everybody's against them, and that all they have is their fear and their pain, then they will not enroll. And that's what I meant, Marianne, when I was saying, if you don't buy their story, because they're going to have a story about why they're stuck and why they have to stay stuck and why they don't have the money for it, or they don't have whatever else it is, because it costs a lot for people to change. And I think we think, oh, this decision is really about us. They don't trust us. They don't think we have enough credentials. They don't think we're good enough. 90% of the time, it has nothing to do with you. It's really about them. Like, can I do this? Am I good enough? Are you going to judge me when I tell you all the, skeletons in my closet, and then you're not going to want to work with me? Like, a lot of what's going on in our ideal clients' heads are really about them and not about you. And so when you show up and you're fully their advocate, that's why we never convince people. You never want to convince somebody. We compel them based on their own self-interest. And in order to do that, we have to listen very carefully to know what their self-interest is, to know what it is that they want, and to know what's holding them back, and to help them see what's possible. People always enroll because they see what's possible. Marianne, when you showed the woman her pictures, like, then she could see herself in a different way than before she saw those pictures. So it's a way of making what is possible tangible and accessible to them. So that's what we do in a sales conversation. We show people, I know this sucks right now where you are, but this is what's possible. And when people feel salesy, it's because the person who is enrolling them is more focused on their script than they are on that person. And that's why I give you a script, like, just to guide the conversation, but the purpose is to listen. right? So the goals of every sales conversation is to get them to talk about their problem and have them understand what the problem is costing them, to lay out for them the solution. Hey, this is what's possible for you. You can actually have this. And then to invite them. So every sales conversation has to do those three things. And it doesn't matter like what particular questions you use to do those three things. The questions you use will be based on how that person is talking to you, what they're revealing to you. That's why it should feel natural. But we talked about what are some questions that you can use to open that up, to open up the opportunity for them to talk about their pain. And then you listen carefully and start serving them and really coaching them into seeing what kind of future, what kind of transformation is possible for them. Does that make sense? Nod if it does. Okay, all right, I can hear you. Okay, so that's what we're going to do now. So we're going to do practice sales conversations, and I'm going to be your ideal client. So I will have Shanta, you can go first. You'll lead me through a sales conversation. We'll take 15 minutes, and the goal is to make it through all three parts. So what's my problem? Unpack that. What is it costing me? What's possible for me? And invite me to work with you. So while you are walking me through, Marianne, I'd like for you to think about, take notes on those three reflection questions, right? So what worked, what didn't work, and what might you want to recommend to Shanta to do differently next time? So you'll follow our conversation as the third party observer and give your feedback, and then it'll be your turn, and Shanta, you can give feedback. Okay.
So I see the what worked and what didn't work, but where's the problem? What are the three parts again?
So if you look on page 69 under practice session.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Where it has conversational goals.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So the what's the problem, what's it costing you is actually, again, what we did last week or part of what you were doing for homework. So I asked you to make 5 conversation starters for your ideal client. So 5 of them were supposed to be about their pain. So something to get them to open up and start talking about their pain. The other 5 were supposed to be about their desire, what they want. So what I'm suggesting now, I just want to show you how you can immediately flow into a sales conversation from an opener. Okay. And, you know, I'd like for you to set them up as scheduled times, but it doesn't have to be, you don't have to be, you know, scheduled time. We're having a conversation, and if it's ripe, you can lead me into a sales conversation. So that's what we're going to practice doing now in a very natural, free-flowing way.
Okay.
You ready, Shanta?
Yep.
Okay. Take a swig of my soda.
Okay. Can I call you my ideal client name or?
Sure. What's my name?
Denise.
Denise. Okay, I can be Denise.
Hi, Denise. Thank you for allowing me to have this discovery call with you. I'm excited that you are on with me. And so to start off, I just want to see what encouraged you to sign up for this call today.
Hi, Shanta. Great to be here. You seemed like a really cool person, and I was interested in, you know, seeing how I could live a full life. So yeah.
Okay. So what are some of the things that you are looking for in order to enhance your life? So what areas of your life are you looking for enhancement in?
Oh, goodness. I guess every area. I definitely like to make more money. I want to have more time. I want my kids to clean up the house. I want my husband to take me out on dates. I want to be about 10 years younger and 10 pounds lighter. And
that's the dream.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd love it. I want to do it all. I have all of it.
And so when you talk about like having a better career to get some more money and be able to manage your children, what do you think kind of gets in the way of doing all of that?
It's never enough time. From sun up to sundown, I'm working at home, working at work, do all this work. And then at the end of the day, it looks like I haven't done anything. My to-do list is just as long. There's so many things in the house that are left undone, and go to bed and start it all over again. And it's exhausting. It's draining. Like, who wants to do that?
That does sound exhausting. And so when do you have time for yourself, since you're, doing all this, you have such a long to-do list? Do you ever get some time for yourself?
For myself? No. I guess when I'm dead, I'll have time for myself. Like, it's just too much that needs to get done. And I can't imagine, if I work this hard and it's still not done, like if I don't work this hard, we would just all go under. I just can't imagine it.
Mm-hmm. And so in the past, have you tried anything to help kind of not feel so overwhelmed and not feel like you're doing all this to no avail?
I tried yoga.
Okay.
I tried meditation.
Okay.
My mind was going 100 miles a minute. All I kept thinking about was all the stuff I have to do. And so hurry up and get me out of this position so I can and get started. So, I know people say, you're supposed to meditate, but my mind is just way too active. I don't close my eyes until it's the end of the day and I'm just exhausted.
Mm-hmm. So what I'm hearing is that you're looking for opportunities and things to just help you calm down a bit and be able to kind of organize everything that you have going on, so you still have time for yourself and to explore your own needs and desires. Is that right?
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And, a lot of times it does help to be able to focus on what are your core values and explore kind of what's most important to you at this current time, and focusing on those things, instead of focusing on all the other pieces that maybe could be delegated out, or your spouse can help you out with on some level and all that. Does that sound like it would be doable for you if you have the right guidance and opportunity?
If I had a magic wand to make my spouse do something, that would be great. Part of the problem with delegating is it takes twice as long to get somebody to do it half as good of a job. And I'll just do it. And, I don't like being that naggy person who's always like, then I tell you to do, it's just, so it just seems easier for me to just do it. But not easier.
I definitely get it. I still am that type A type of person who likes to control everything, and I'm ambitious. I like to, do things that would take me to higher levels, and sometimes that does not mean I'm very great at delegating. But what I've learned is helping with communication and learning how to let go on some level. And that's what I teach a lot of women to do, is to let go of that fear of it not being done perfectly, let go of that fear of being guilty or shameful about certain things that we do, and focusing on ourselves, because the world teaches us, like, we as women, we have to be the ones to manage everything in the household and everything in our lives. But I help women to be able to learn how to kind of get rid of those negative messages and be able to live the best life that they desire, essentially. And whether that's through their sex life, or through being a parent, or being a strong person in their career, that's what we focus on, and exploring that. Does that sound like something that you would love to participate in?
Yeah. I mean, how do I let go without drowning?
And a lot of it is going to be exploring the messages you received about letting go, and about being this strong woman that you are supposed to be, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll explore that together, and we'll do a lot of activities together. I like to give homework. So you'll definitely get a lot of opportunities to practice that and really see how this could fit in your everyday life.
And you'll promise me I'm not going to drown and go under?
I will be there with you every step of the way.
Mm-hmm.
So would you like to sign up today about to schedule some appointments so we can really dig deep and explore what's going on with you and get to work?
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't want to do more work, but I want to be free, and I want to stop drowning.
I promise it'll be good work, not the draining work that you are used to, but it'll be uplifting and empowering work.
Yes, yes, that's what I need. I need to be uplifted.
Good. Okay.
So what do I do?
Oh, okay. We're going that deep.
Yeah, you got a couple minutes. You got.
So, the next step is that I will send you all the intake information, and you'll fill it out, and we'll schedule an appointment so we can get started. Okay. Does that sound good to you?
Yeah, it sounds good. So how long are we going to work together?
So I usually like to see my clients for at least 6 weeks straight. And that way we can really unpack what's going on, as well as still have time to do some active action work. And so after that 6 weeks, we'll reassess and see if we need to continue on a weekly basis, or if we need to do like every other week or once a month, just to kind of support and check in, so to speak. And so you'll go through the 6 weeks assessments and work, and we'll be able to figure out what's going on and be able to help you thrive in the lifestyle that you want to.
So in 6 weeks, I won't be drowning.
You'll have the tools to keep you afloat and be able to get yourself out of the water and stand tall.
Yes, I need that.
Okay. So great. So let me take your email address, and I will send you all the intake information, and we'll also schedule an appointment for you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Great.
All right. You have 5 minutes to spare. Thank you. Marianne, you want to lead us and helping us to unpack what we've learned?
Well, I thought it was super impressive, Shanta. You're very calm and you're very professional, and your opening questions led her to open up to you right away, which was, you have this presence that makes you just want to open up to you. And your flow of questions, I could tell that you've done it before. It just happened very naturally. That was good. You're very compassionate. I would say that's like a very strong, like when you said, do you have any time for yourself? I almost like got teary-eyed, because I think that just showed that you were really concerned for her. And then you offered just a lot of really good support for her. You also were able to repeat back her words, which is really good. And you paraphrased what she said. So this is what I hear you saying, and you said it really well back to her. So you're a good listener. And then you did go transition into what I do is blah, blah, blah. And it just seemed very logical and very, it wasn't too rambly, and it was just a good, nice, very professional and compassionate, I'd say, where there was a good combination.
Thank you.
You're welcome. The middle part was especially strong. The whole compassionate part. I wanted to hear more about what the core values were.
Okay.
Because I'm always interested in what values are. So I think maybe a few examples, like kindness or whatever the values were that you would offer her. I was like wanting to hear more. And then also at the end, the logistics. It's like, is it in person? I don't know if you're going specifically for a sex therapy, or you're just going for life coaching. I couldn't, because I know that you're a sex therapist, so I was waiting for the part about, well, how's your sex life? But it was mostly about like lifting her out of this daily struggle. So that was very general. So if I were going to spend like thousands of dollars, I'd want very specific advice on how I can get my sex life spiced up in 4 weeks. Just like, people love numbers. So that's what I would do differently.
Okay, great. Thank you, Marianne. Shanta, do you have any questions for Marianne?
No.
Okay.
But it was really, it was great. You did your homework.
Yes, I just echo everything Marianne said. And, clearly you're a fabulous counselor because you are coaching me through my experience, and those skills pay off well in a sales conversation. Some of the things that are different between a sales conversation and a coaching or counseling session is, in the sales conversation, you really want me to do more of the talking and less teaching, because the teaching is what I get once I become your client. So here, I thought you did a great job getting me to unpack, my problems and focus on what's the worst part of the problem. And you did a great job kind of leading me to get into what that felt like. And I started feeling those feelings in myself, which is what a conversation is supposed to do. And then you shared yourself with me, your own personal story, which connected me, right? So that helped me to trust you more. Then I would have liked for you to talk more about what's possible for me in terms of a solution, instead of kind of what you have experienced for yourself, right? So more like, well, how would it feel if you could have this? Like, just describe for me the stuff that I'm saying I wanted. Like, what if, you weren't exhausted at the end of the day? Would you want that? Like, just build, because part of what my struggle was is that I didn't think I could have a life any different than what I have. Like, that's why I'm drowning. And so, I can, but helping me to see that and doing that more in question form instead of.
That's what I kind of went back and forth in my head about. Like, should I ask what they would visualize it, or should it be me saying like, okay, this is how we can fix this problem?
Yeah. Well, you did fine with the how we can fix it, because it was very high level. Like, I couldn't walk away. I wasn't fixed in the session, which is great, because it's going to take more than talking to you for 15 minutes to get fixed. But I knew you had a plan and you had a structure. But before we go into that structure of the solution, I want you to help me understand this is possible for you. Like, remember when we were doing the slavery and freedom? So you did a great job helping me to explore my slavery. Also help me to explore my freedom. And sometimes it could be questions like, what would freedom look like for you? You won't use those words, but sometimes it could be just you saying, wouldn't it be great if you had this? You can have it. Like, I'm telling you, I can't have it. But if you're more certain that I can, me being around is like, what? Like, I don't have to live like this forever? No. And this is how you'll get it. So then that's why I want to sign up. So yeah, that way, and then the specific outcome, which coaching and counseling are very, skills that you can help me solve a lot of problems. So that's fine if, in this one-on-one, you figured out this was my core problem, that, I don't prioritize myself. And if I'm not prioritizing my time, I'm sure I'm not having a great sex life, because I'm not prioritizing myself in any way. So we can unpack more of that in our work together, as long as it is, you have helped me to see whatever feels most painful for me. That's what I buy your solution for. The solution is going to be, I'm going to get a lot more than what I think I need. Right now, I think I just need a magic wand to make my husband clean up. but you know I need more than that, and you'll help me get there.
Okay.
Okay, so great. Thank you.
Thank you.
So Marianne, I'm eager to be your client. Are you ready?
Okay.
All right, let's go. Do I have a name? Sorry. I can be
Camilla.
Camilla.
I'm just making that up. I don't really have.
That's kind of, I'll be exotic and Camilla. All right, I'm ready.
Okay. Hi, Camilla.
Hi, Marianne.
So nice to meet you. I love this business card, but I noticed you don't have your photo on it. When was the last time you were photographed?
Prom?
That's a long time ago. So
Yes, it was.
so you've never had a professional photo taken?
Oh, I got my wedding pictures, but I'm divorced now, so I don't look at those. But yeah.
So I think it's an important thing for every woman to exist in a beautiful portrait. And there's something that is really valuable about seeing yourself in a picture. Has it ever interested you to celebrate yourself and see a beautiful portrait of yourself?
I guess when I feel beautiful and when I lose this weight, sure. That'd be nice.
Have you ever had professional hair and makeup done?
Prom and my wedding.
Well, right now it's really a common thing to have hair and makeup done, and you can go and get it done before a party and put on a beautiful dress, and you're going to go out, and then you say, oh, I'm looking so hot, I would just love a beautiful portrait of myself or a beautiful photo of myself, and you take a selfie. Well, that's what I do. I have people get all dressed up, have hair and makeup, and they're looking great, and they say, gosh, I would love a picture of myself, and I just say, well, that's what I'm here for.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if that would be something that would help. I'm not really going very far with this conversation because you haven't had your picture taken in so long. I should just talk about. I haven't prepared this. Should I just say what I normally just say?
You should try to get me to talk about what pain I'm experiencing.
Okay, what pain? See, the thing is, I don't know what pain people go through about not having their picture taken.
So what are some of the questions that you ask me that you have in your pain to get people to open up?
Well, I think I ask kind of more indirect questions. I don't say, what pain are you experiencing? But some people just feel overlooked, or just like they're just not feeling valued. So, but it's not like something I ask them. It just kind of comes up in a conversation.
So how the key things that I've shared with you, it's been a long time since my picture has been taken because I don't feel beautiful. I'm not the body size that I would like to be. And when I am, then I'll be beautiful, and then I'll invest in myself and take my picture.
So that's the pain. And so the thing that I say, which I don't think I like this anymore, but I say I'm good for 20 pounds because I can help with you with that in posing, because by then they know that I'm a photographer. But I don't know how to guide them into, and then I make a joke of, don't wait, WEIGHT, this, or I say, if someday your children will look for photos of you, what will they find? It's a really good time to do it right now.
Okay, so let's do it. So do with me wherever you want to take this. I'm not trying to be difficult.
So
you want to start from the beginning?
Just about the 20 pounds. So, but I'll just assume that that I'm a photographer. So I'm good for 20 pounds. It's all in the posing. And then I'll actually stand up and, so, if you're standing here and you put your hips toward the camera, everything that's closer to the camera gets bigger. So watch this. If you put it back, your hips you just instantly lost 20 pounds. So I can really help you in the posing. And then, if it, and then I go into the whole wardrobe, and if you wear form-fitting clothes, I can just do a little bit of retouching, in my Photoshop, and no one will ever know the difference. And then I show them a picture of me where I've actually added 4 inches to my legs. So I don't have a huge weight problem, but I have a height problem. So I can create the illusion that my legs are longer, and then I show them that. And look at my legs are even longer. And then I say, when I look at my photo of myself, I just feel really good, because this is how I feel free when I'm out in nature in a gown. And so when I see this photo, I remind myself of how I feel. And then I say, how do you dream of being photographed?
Of being photographed? So I think I would love to have one of those like superpower poses, like a Wonder Woman pose, and like some really sexy like black bustier something with my hair flying in the background, and yeah, just feeling really powerful and beautiful and young and vivacious. Yeah.
I hear the word fierce also.
Yes.
Wonder Woman is
Beyonce.
in her black bustier, in her Wonder Woman shorts.
Mm-hmm.
I hear you. I think it's important for every woman to feel fierce.
Mm-hmm.
We can feel feminine and fierce at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I would love to explore that further with you, because right now in this world, women have to be fierce. We have to be able to stand fiercely. And if you can see yourself in this image, in your black bustier and your hair flying in the wind, and you're standing there in your Wonder Woman shorts, it's kind of like a vision board. It's like a reminder of who you aspire to be. And the more you look at that vision of yourself, the closer you can step towards that actual reality of yourself being Wonder Woman. So I'd love to create this vision board for you in this portrait.
You're going to help me become Wonder Woman.
I would love to help you become Wonder Woman. Everyone deserves to be a wonderful Wonder Woman.
All right. Yes, I do. How do I do it?
So normally people are in my studio, and when this happens, so what we do is you come on July 3rd, and you're going to have your hair and your makeup done over there. And while you're doing that, being pampered by my stylist, I'm going to be going through your wardrobe, which we've figured out already. And I'm going to be mapping your poses that I've figured out for you with your wardrobe and the backdrop. And then you're going to come over to this corner, and I'm going to photograph you, and I'm going to guide you, and you're not going to have to worry about a thing. Don't worry about how you look or what your body's doing, because I'm going to direct everything. And you can trust me that I can see that Wonder Woman in you.
Yeah.
And help you find that Wonder Woman.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then 7 to 10 days later, you're going to come back and look at your retouched images, and what you like, you buy. There's no pressure. But it's my job to get some beautiful portraits of you.
Yes. Great.
So I'm looking forward to photographing you. Does July 3rd sound like a good time? Get that in the books?
Yeah, July 3rd is when I become Wonder Woman.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Also, 6 minutes to go. Great. Shanta, what would you like to share in terms of your reflections?
So, Marianne, I loved your opening question. I don't remember what it was, but I remember writing down, love that opening question. And then I also like your sense of humor, like interjecting humor into it. I think that helped make the client, and I don't know, I can't speak for you, but it made me feel a lot more comfortable because I love humor. And the question you had about their ideal portrait, that like lit up her face when she was able to talk about like, I want to be Superwoman. Like it was really powerful. And I think that's a big kind of piece to put in there, to keep in there. I wrote down at the beginning, it felt like your questions were jumping around a bit, like they weren't too interconnected, but I think that was because you were trying to figure out what you wanted to say and how to kind of bring out the problem set. And then what I would do differently is maybe at the question, like, what gets in the way of, and then ... So I guess in this case, what gets in the way of you taking these portraits or, taking more pictures of yourself at any size that you are or something like that.
Yeah, I definitely have to work on that because that's so many people's objection. So yeah, I do have to figure out, because it's a valid, if they're not feeling good about themselves, but it's up to me to help them feel better about themselves. Well,
I thought you had a really good response to it, but there were ways that I think you could have enhanced that and played it up. So what your response was twofold. One, that I could look like I was 20 pounds lighter now. And two, that as I saw myself that way, that could actually help me become that in all these areas of my life. So there is something, now I don't know the research behind this because this wasn't my work, but Nipa, have you met her? She's a stylist in Big. Okay, so one of the things that she was sharing is just that she's seen in her clients, because they always do I'm going to get really beautiful clothes when I lose weight. And so one of the stories that she shares is that you often get the beautiful clothes first. You feel better. It keeps you engaged and you lose weight. And then we buy more beautiful clothes for you. But, she can talk about kind of that trajectory. To me, it made sense because when it's how we feel on the inside that actually shapes how we show up and engage in life. And so I do think, when people feel beautiful, they actually are taking better care of their bodies and health and do those things. If there was some kind of statistic or experience or something behind it, I would throw that out then. But even with it not being that, I loved this becomes your vision board. And you can look at yourself every day as this beautiful, fierce woman, 20 pounds, at your ideal weight, and, making, just being who you want to be in the world. So what I really thought my suggestion would be is to spend less time telling me what I need and more time asking me how it would feel to be that, to imagine that, right? So when I'm saying, well, I'll take pictures when I'm 20 pounds lighter, and you're like, okay, so what if I could make you 20 pounds lighter tomorrow?
That's a good one.
Really? You can do that? Yeah, because that's what you say. Yes, I can. That's what photographers do all the time. That's why they get paid the big bucks. That's what it's about. So you get to see your inner radiance. You get to look at, if you go and snap an iPhone photo, you're not going to be pleased with what you look like. But if you come with me, I can show you a picture of yourself at your ideal weight. I can show you a picture of yourself where you're looking as fierce and powerful as you've always wanted to look. And what would it look like to every day be able to look at that photo and see yourself, the fierce Wonder Woman that you are? Now, what's possible for you? How'd you feel looking at that photo and then going into work? How would you show up for work? How'd you show up when you hang out with your friends at the bar, happy hour? Right? So getting people to imagine how they'd feel having already had your solution, and how, I'm not just buying a picture, I'm transforming my life. I'm changing my self-image, which is true, because you're just giving me the physical representation. You're taking a picture of who I want to be and giving me that embodiment that I can look at that and then I can use that every day to take steps to make my life that way. That's a transformation. So you have all the materials for it, but you kept telling me. So whatever you say, I don't believe it, because I just don't trust people who, you're trying to sell me something. But if you ask me a question, then I have to answer it. Even if I don't tell you, I have to answer it in my own head. And when I hear it in my voice, then I believe it. So that's why we want to ask more questions instead of telling people what they should do. So I think you have all the right material. I just say take some time to turn those statements into questions. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but you do it so easily. I like that. It just came so naturally for you.
No, it doesn't come naturally. I just told you I take notes after every sales conversation that I have.
That's true.
It
Okay.
is a skill like everything else. We can learn this skill. And, the way that I do mine will be different than the way you do yours and the way Shanta does hers, because we're all different people. But it will feel natural to you when you're doing it,
Mm-hmm.
because it'll be you being your personality. Like Shanta said, you have all this humor in the way that you approach sales. You're very kinetic, how you're moving your body. And even if I wasn't looking at you, I can hear the energy and the kind of movement in your voice, right? So that kind of energy and excitement and humor and fun and lightheartedness, like I like to be around people like that. Those are the kind of people I'm attracted to. So everything about us in a sales conversation is engaging the other person, and the confidence that you have around you can be this fierce woman that you want to be. If you come in and you hear that's what I want, and you're certain I can have it, and you're more certain than I'm certain I can't have it, you'll win.
Mm.
Not winning just enrolling me, but winning like I will actually walk away thinking, yeah, I am fierce. I can be fierce. Like I can do this. So that's what sales conversations, regardless of what it is that we're selling, are always coaching sessions, because we're trying to help people see what's possible for them.
Mm.
And it's that transformation that we are really selling. We're selling a transformation of your life. Our product is just the vehicle to make that happen.
Perfect. Keisha, can you give another example of laying out the solution and seeing if it's possible? Because I feel like whenever I look at those words, I'm thinking, okay, this is the step-by-step process that I would take to getting you there.
Mm-hmm. So for me, like what if you could come home, totally excited and energized at the end of your day, and walk into a clean house and be able to sit down and have a glass of wine instead of go immediately into cooking or cleaning or whatever it is that you do? What if you had, 2 hours of your day to hang out with your friends and not take care of anybody? Whatever those things, because you want to listen for me, what it is that I want. Once you find the thing that I want, and I'm like, yeah, I'd love to do that. And you're like, you can totally have that. All you need to do is get really clear on your values, learn how to prioritize your time, make you the center, and teach other people how to treat you. We can do that. I can show you how to do that. Like, so you might list your 3 things, but I don't really know what those things are. But at this point, I don't really care. It's like, oh, if I do these 3 things, I can have that you just described. Yeah. Okay, great. So we spend a lot more time talking about our features, but what clients want are the solutions. They want to know their life is going to be better after working with us. And that's why I kept saying, like, oh, I won't be overwhelmed. Like, I'm not going to drown. I can let go without drowning. Like, that was truly me. Like, I know those people because I've been that person. And I think I have to hold on for dear life. And so if you're telling me, let go, the earth is not going to swallow you. You're not going to drown. Like, it's such a relief, but it's very scary. But you're comforting of, I got you. You're not going to drown. Like, when you said that, I was like, all right, I'm going to let go. You got me, right? You're like, I got you. Okay. So if we get into too much details, then we're engaging the prefrontal cortex, and people want to figure out, well, how exactly are you going to do that? And what's that then? How many, we don't want that. We want to engage the emotions, the true desires of what people want. And if I told you I could get you what it is that you really, really want, and you don't have to figure it out, I already know how to do it. Let's go. Okay. So the invitation can often be, I appreciate you. Does that sound like something you want? Those are good practice invitations. Like when you're going in the middle, like, oh, if you could have this, would you like that? Would you like to be able to have this kind of life? Like, yes, yes, yes. So those are my practice yeses. So by the time you're finished, you're like, when you lay out the solution and you're like, oh yeah, you can have that. We just do A, B, and C. So let's get started. This is how we get started, and lay it out. Okay. Then Visa or MasterCard. Here we go. The other thing is, I would suggest to both of you that you take enrollment payment at the end of your sales conversation, even if it's a deposit, but it's something about money that actually makes people make a commitment. And that's important. And so even if the money might make them think, I don't know if I want to do that, that's okay, because then you can coach them into why this is really possible for them. But if they really aren't committed, you also want them to say no. So we want them to say yes, or we want them to say no. We don't want them to be like, I'll think about it. All that stuff is like, you haven't made a decision. And indecisiveness is a form of self-abuse. Right? Like that's why they're in this struggle. They're going over and over. I want something. I don't know if I can have it. I don't know if I should do something about it. So it's like, just make a decision. Yes, I know you can have it. I'll help you. Or if you're saying, I don't want to do the work. Okay, that's fine. Like, you can say no too. But that's our job, is to lead them to a decision, not to lead them to saying yes.
Have you ever come across people who don't want to give their credit card number over the phone?
No.
Okay.
And I guess if we were in an earlier era, maybe even 5 or 10 years ago, but no, I've never gotten to that point. And I really do think it's because so much of sales is really about certainty. Like, how you ask people for money reflects how confident you are that you can help them. And, if you ask in a very timid, like, well, do you think this might be what you want to do? Like, they feel it. And it's like, well, I don't know. Maybe I don't really want to do it. But if you're like, yes, you definitely can have this. Come on, let's get started, girl. Here you go. What's your credit card? Do you want to put this on Visa? Do you want to pay all at one time? Or do you want to split it up? Like, how you want to do this? Mm-hmm. That, forces me to a decision. So next week, we'll talk about objections. So our homework for the next 2 weeks is to actually practice having these sales conversations and doing the thing that you just did afterwards, so that every sales conversation becomes your learning experience. And then I have on there, the last activity I have is for you to write a gratitude letter, a thank you letter from your future ideal client. So I really, really want you to do this. And I want you to do it before you have your next sales conversation, whenever that is. So in a gratitude letter, I want you to take the perspective of, so who was I? I'm Camilla?
Or whatever, yeah.
Yes, I was Camilla. Who was I for you, Shanta?
Denise.
I was Denise. Okay, so this will be from Denise and Camilla. And so I'll say, dear Shanta, dear Mary Ann, thank you so much for how you've helped me. And then I'm going to go into talking about the difference that you've made in my life. Every day when I wake up and I look at this picture of me in my Wonder Woman pose, I feel powerful and fierce. When I walk into the office, I command the boardroom. So I'm going to tell you all the things about my life that are better now as a result of what you've done for me. And I'll always be grateful for what you've given me and the love and care that you put into serving me. Thank you. And then I'll sign it Denise. I'll sign it Camilla. So this letter becomes part of your ritual before you do a sales conversation, to read it and connect with what you're there to do, which is to serve that person, to help that woman feel better and to get this kind of life transformation. That's what you're there to do, not to make a sale. You're there to change a life. And also when you're feeling gratitude, that helps, again, take away the fear, because you kind of come from a different space. You're coming from a different energy when you're engaging with people. So definitely take the time to fill that out. Then do your sales conversations, as many as you can. Like, The fastest way to get good at this is to do it a lot. And every time you do it, do those 3 questions and see what you learn. And so then bring in any objections that you're getting to our next session, and we'll talk about how to manage those objections. So if people give you an objection, you're like, oh, this is great. That was a good one. Let me write this down so I can figure out how to develop a strategy around that in our next session. So that's what we're going to do next time.
So I'm going to be away on vacation.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
Can I offer my most major objection? Like I had a client say this to me today. She had booked a session. She got one of those gift vouchers. And,
yes.
It was a gift. It was actually a gift. She didn't buy it, so there was no money exchange.
Mm-hmm.
And she had done her pre-session consultation. I had dates. I had the stylist. Everything was booked. And then she called me today and said that she and her husband decided that they just didn't want to spend the money.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the major objection.
The money objection.
Cost, the money objection.
Yes, that's a common one. We're going to cover that one.
You're going to cover that one, good.
Yes. And we're going to practice working it out. Okay. So, but still, in Marianne, if you have new ones that come up, you can send me an email, let me know. So we'll include them in our discussion, and everyone has access to the video, so I'll send it out. So although Leslie and Amy aren't here, they can still watch it and get the insight. And so even though you'll be away, when come back, you can watch it and hear the training. And I'll include the workbooks as well, so that for the people who aren't here, you can download the workbook and have the video link. Okay.
That'll be on the email that you send out.
Yes, I'll include both of them in the email.
Okay. Thank you.
You're very welcome. So thank you, ladies, both of you, for fabulous work. And I'm excited to hear what you're learning from your sales conversations in our next coaching call.
Thanks. Okay.
All right. Have a great week.
See you next time.
Good travels, Marianne.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.